Hello, hello. Just hide that. I'm just trying to get my Instagram connected. It may not work tonight. I've done it in the wrong order. Or isn't it working? Never mind. We won't be on Instagram today then. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Susan. Cheryl. Cheryl with an S and Cheryl with a C. Why is that not showing? Make sure everything's plugged in. Oh, it is. It's just got that there. Okay, that's all right. It's all right. Who we got? Hi, Donna. Cheryl. Vera. Hello. Are you new? You might have been here once before. Jane, Kerry, Nancy. Hello. Hi, Chris. Wait for a few more to come on. Let's see if that Instagram did connect. No, I don't think it did. Never mind. Won't matter if we miss that one tonight. YouTube's working. Hi, Karen. Hi, Sue. Hi, Joanne. Andrea from Perth. Vera, are you your first time here on a live though? I can't remember if I've seen you before or not. Hi, Marilyn. Hi, Kim. Wanda. Hello. Good evening. Wait for a few more to come on. Okay, try again later. It's telling me. So we won't bother with it. Hi, Karen. Hi, Liz. Maureen. Hello, made it. Well done. Well done. You haven't missed anything. Supposedly getting warmer. It's meant to get to 16 today, but gosh, it still felt cold. When I went out, it was still 99 degrees. Hi. Hello, Karen. And obviously this room is still cold, but that's okay. There are signs of spring. Hello, Kayleen. Hi, Lorraine. Yeah, there's the magnolia tree down the street is blossoming. The owners are in Greece, so they're missing out. But yeah, the flowers have burst, still buds, but yeah, first signs of spring around here and a few daffodils. Hi, Yvonne. Yeah, and we had to mow the lawns this weekend, so things are starting to grow again. Hello, Kerry Lee. Yeah, so I hope you've all had a lovely week. Mine seems to be just as busy again. Picked a bunch of I don't actually have any daffodils or jonquils or any bulbs growing, so I've got not a single winter flower, sadly. Hi, Peter. Hi, Liz. Flower. Hi, Rhonda. Oh, other Rhonda. Hello, Rhonda. I was thinking it was the other Rhonda who's trying to get to Hawaii on her second attempt, so I'm assuming she's not tuning in tonight. Christine. Oh, Christine's here. Christine here. Why am I not getting? I mustn't have come through yet. Let's go to this so I can watch this. Although we don't tend to have problems with freezing anymore, we seem to have resolved that issue, which is nice. Hi, Mark. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Helen. Hi, Laurel. Hi, Jane. Just made it in time. Home from work. Oh, okay, Donna. I need to come visit your house. Have you got a nice big garden? Yeah, no, I have no jonquils or daffs. Don't know why. I've never had those. It'd be nice to have something, towards the end of winter. Hi, Gidget. So now, Christine, so your comments just come through here, and I saw it come through on my phone ages ago. So that's quite delayed, isn't it? Never mind. At least I do see you there. You do get there. Okay. Right. What have we got tonight? Oh, gin. A gin of the week. I am enjoying a 40 spotted citrus gin. Australian citrus gin, just a little bit of lemon because we had lemon on a schnitty for dinner, so I had some left over. Oh, okay. Yeah, because you're too rural with all the bush around you. Okay. Hi, Angela. Are jonquils dangerous, poisonous to animals? I'm sure the dog wouldn't eat them anyway. So this is 40 spotted Australian citrus gin. It is Tasmanian. Modern Tasmanian gin inspired Barra Island home. 40 spotted Australian citrus is distilled in small batches in southern Tasmania and crafted to bring together the traditional flavours of juniper with the sweet aromatic influence of Australian citrus and the fresh complexity of Tasmanian Oyster Bay pine. There you go. I'm not sure I'm getting the pine, but you definitely get the citrus. It's a really nice, refreshing. I really like this one, 40 spotted. Yeah. Hi, Anna. Hi, Angela. Hi, Joe. Yeah, it's a very nice one. So I'm enjoying that. That's the 40 spotted citrus gin. If you're visiting Tassie, I'm sure you can get it elsewhere. I'm sure Dan's has got it around the country. But that is very pleasant. Hello, Lorraine. Share it around. It's a bit hard to share it through the screen. Hello, Annette. Are you new here? I know we've had Annette. No, you might have been before, I think, Annette. Might have been here before, but if not, welcome. Now, we have a new mystery word tonight for our lottery jar. I'm pretty sure they would be, Nancy. I reckon 40 Spotted's a fairly well-known distillery. So I would say it's available in a lot of the hotels and probably at Dan Murphy's. I reckon you'd probably be able to get it. Hi, Catherine. Hi, Gwen. Hi, Mary. You are new, Mary. Hello, Mary Russell. Welcome. Hi, Tony. Hello. So if you are new here, the little jar down the bottom corner here is our little lottery jar. So normally when you make a comment, your head falls down into that jar like a little bubble, and we draw a winner at the end. But last week and this week, I've decided to make it a bit trickier, and you have to guess the word that you need to comment. And last week I made it a bit too easy. That is not the right laugh. Let's get rid of that. Well, sort of made it easy, but you get the idea. It has to be one word, and so if you guess the word, and I'll give you a few hints throughout the night, if you guess the one word and get it into the comments, then you'll see your little head drop in to win a prize at the end. Okay, and you have to be at the end to collect your prize, so you have to stick it out with me the whole time. Hello, Melissa. Hello, Janet. Hello, Karen. Welcome. We've popped in. All right, what have I got to show you tonight? Jo took the day off today to pick up a new puppy, not her puppy. It wasn't her puppy, but she drove Sandra to pick up her new puppy, and it is a schnauzer, so it'll be another member of the quarter-inch schnauzer family, it seems. So she may not be here tonight. Here's the prize, the gin. No, I can't give up my gin. Okay, so I've got a little bag of goodies here. What have I got in here? Let's get these out. A few things, new things to show you. Let's come in. Okay, so we have got these fat quarter stacks. So they're Devonstone solids, which are a really good price. And they've started doing these little boxes of fat quarter bundles. And they're sort of random, as in not always the same colours. And they sort of don't look like they're perfectly packed. But the reason being, they're in this nice little box to store them in, which is good. The reason being is that they've teamed up with the Endeavour Foundation, and they're giving jobs to their clients, and they are packing them. So they'd be very proud to be packing those. So that's a lovely a lovely thing. So it's an Australian company. Obviously, the fabrics aren't printed in Australia because we really don't do any. Oh, the owner's off on sick leave. Influenza A, have just picked up antivirals. Well, there you go. That's what happens when you work in your type of work. You pick up everything. Hello from Anna in Melbourne. I knew some schnauzers called Ian, Philip, and Keith. Good names. Hi, Denise. Welcome. And yes, devonstone. So there's 20 stacks in there, 20 fat quarters, and for only $85.50. So they're a nice little box. But I just like the fact that they've teamed up with the Endeavour Foundation, and they're actually giving employment or just little jobs to some people that otherwise may not be employed. So that's really lovely. So we've got some of those, and it's a good way to just beef up your solid stash. We can always have a good solid stash. I'm thinking when I close the shop, well, I no longer have a shop, or when I know that I'm closing the shop, I think I'll be cutting myself a metre or a half a metre of every one of the Kona solids we have in the shop, and the devonstones too. So I have a nice little stash to get me through the rest of my life. I'm sure I'll need to buy more, but what happens when you haven't got your own shop that you can run down and grab what you want? Yes, they're fat quarters, Karen. So 50 by 55 centimeters. So Australian fat quarters, not American size. Okay. We also have got, now you may remember, some of you, oh, well done, Jeanette. Good. Hi from Warrnambool. Yes, you are guessing a word, Fiona. I haven't given you any clues yet. So remember quite some time ago, we were talking about using a silicone pressing mat on top of my light box and being able to iron on it, and that will be the answer to everything. So ever since then, I've been buying every sort of researching and looking for all these different silicone mats, and we've just found this Matilda's own one, which is, I'm going to open it now, which means then it's open, so I guess it's mine, which is an Australian Matilda's own. It's an Australian product. I don't know if this one is made in Australia. Having said that, all of their oh, I just forgot to bring something up too. Bummer. I was photographing and I left it down there. All Matilda's own waddings and battings and foams and things are actually made in a factory in Geelong. I didn't know that, from Australian wools. So yeah, you'll order them from somewhere or someone else. What do I order from someone else? I'm not quite sure. Run down and get it. I'll show you what I've got first, and then I might run down and get it. When you need a resup, you need a little break. It is downstairs though. It's not just out in the lounge. It'll be a little bit further away. Now, I would normally throw that on the floor, but I know Bentley's going to eat it later. He's sitting nicely on his bed at the moment, so I won't throw it on the floor. So this is quite a large, oh, that's no good. You can't see it. I'll have to go to the overhead. Quite a large, even then you can't see it. I'll have to zoom out. Hi, Rosie. Remind me later. Brio. There, so you can see how large that is. It's actually 50 centimeters square. Good to know from this sheep farmer. Exactly, Wanda. I did not know. How stupid of me. It says made in Australia, but we had the rep in yesterday and something came up. And he said, yeah, it's actually, I've got a factory in Geelong, and all the battings and things are made from Australian wool. I'm not sure about the cotton. We do grow cotton in Australia, but I'm not sure on that. And the bamboo. But the wool, at least, he said, yeah, he's Australian, and they make their own here in Australia. So this is quite a large silicone pressing mat. It's got a 6-inch circle and square, 12-inch and 18-inch. So if you're trimming up or straightening things and having it all even, it's got the cross lines, which is great if you're doing mandala type things and you have to keep them all even. It's heat resistant. So yes, you can iron on it. So it's usually like for your fusibles and things like that to iron things on. Hi, Tanya. And the only thing I haven't tested is ironing on it on top of my light box. It's a bit scary because I don't actually want to ruin my light box. But I did do a test a friend brought me just a little cheap light box and her silicone mat to test. It did warp it a little bit, but once it went cold, it then flattened out again. So you only need a really quick press. So anyway, whether or not I use it on my light box or not, that is a really nice large size, handy silicone mat for whenever you're fusing or laying things out. Just gives you those extra guides. So if you put that on top of your light box, then you've got those guides to keep everything straight. And I think I just ripped off the price, but I think it was $35, around that. I'll put the link in a minute anyway. But yeah, I think it was around the $35, which is pretty good. And it's an Australian product. So there you go. I don't know if it's made in Australia, but let's say on this. No, it's made in China. Yeah, I would rather doubt it would be made in Australia because we just don't have the facilities to do that. See-through for tracing and easy layout. Iron safe. Slightly clingy for temporary placement. It is, so you could just sit all your bits on there. I know, Michelle. I'm in Geelong all the time, and I didn't know that either. So there you go. I don't know where in Geelong it is, but it's probably out in an industrial area, I suppose, if it's a big factory. Warehouse. Teflon and silicone infused for washability, so you can clean it. Oven safe, doubles as a baking tray liner. There you go. If you needed to get perfect pizza bases or tart bases, yeah, there you go. So I'll pop the link in for those in a minute because we can get those. We've got a few. And what else have I got to show you? Oh, I've got these. I'm not sure if I've showed you these before, and I forgot to put they're not on the website, so you just have to ask. And I think we've only got one of each, but we just get one in as they sell. Hi, Wendy. So these are iron-on labels, iron-on quilt labels. So there's 2 books full of them. So they're really good value. Not that I can tell you how much they are. $24.50 and $26.50. So very good value. And you get all of these. Now, these could not only be labels, they could also just be iron-on stitcheries. We'll need more than a metre of each. I actually bought my silicone mats from the baking shop. Metre of each. You lost me there, Melissa, on what you're referring to there. Unless if you need more than a metre of each, maybe you can buy it by the metre from a baking shop. Maybe that's what you're saying. But see all these little iron-ons, they could be little stitcheries too, not just labels. But there's all sorts of labels in there. And extra little things. So these are actually really good value. If you look at my stick and stitches and my iron stitches that have just got one page, I shouldn't be saying that because these are really good value to get all of these designs. So I think we only have one of each at the moment. So if anyone wants to grab these, just comment sold in the comments and we'll keep it for you. One was $24.50 and one was $26.50. But I can get more. So if more than one of you want it, then we can just get more and you'll just wait for it. So you don't have to use them for labels, but there are great labels there. All sorts of things in there. So these are all transfers. They all iron on. You just tear it out of your book and transfer it on. Gosh, they're very good value. Okay, and very usable. Let's look at this one. Sold. Okay, Karen Goff sold the first one, iron on with the iron on it. Best ever iron on quilt labels. That was the $24.50 one. This is Sassy Sayings. Okay, so this one's got more sayings in it rather than quilt labels. But again, got nice little stitcheries. I bled for this. There you go. It's in reverse, so I can't see one of each. Okay, more than a. Okay, so we've gone over our one already, so that's all right. We'll just put you on pre-orders for the rest and order some more in. There might be more there. I'm not really sure, but I just grabbed these out the front. I could have been quilting something I like. Okay, I bled for this. I'm going to be able to read it backwards. Take a deep breath and lower your expectations. Okay, if you can see this label, you're looking too closely. Okay. Hand wash cold, tumble dry, remove baby first. Okay. Made with, yeah, okay, language. How hand wash only will cut you, or I will cut you. Okay. Okay, all right. Anyway, I can't read them all back to front, but yeah. So that one's got more labels, more sayings in that in it, which again would make a nice label. So they're all little sayings you can put on when you're gifting it, or they might just make a nice little stitchery. Okay, so we've got a few orders on there for that, and we'll just Jo can go through in order if she's back and order the rest. We'll order how many we need. If the price has gone up, we'll just keep it at the same price for you. Handmade, isn't that sweet? So they're all iron-on transfers, so they should transfer nicely onto your fabric. Some got it Sue. The best I could do. You better believe I bitched while I stitched. Okay, there you go. That's a good one. Minimum cussing was involved. Just because it's handmade doesn't mean it's cheap. Okay. Don't like this? Give it back. That's fair enough. Don't put it in the secondhand store or give it to the dog. Give it back and you'll re-gift it to someone that appreciates it. You better freaking appreciate this. You better freaking appreciate. Okay. Contains actual tears. Anyway, so that's enough. So they're two really good value books. So yep, I haven't followed all the comments there, but we'll go through them. Okay, Jo's watching and eating dinner, so she'll go through them and work out who was first and then who else she's going to order them for, and she'll send you invoices for those. But they'll be a couple of weeks before they come in. So that's that one. Then we've got a whole stack. I won't go into the long story of why, but we've got a whole stack of these colouring books, which actually are, they're really good practice to work out colours and play with colours, or else just colour in. But they're actually really good ways to audition different colourways and colour schemes together. So we've got a whole stack of them, or maybe just to keep the grandkids happy and quiet while you're trying to sew when you're babysitting them over the weekend. So they're all sort of quilt blocks, but they're a great way to audition different colours and things like that, or just to colour in, and even some nice good design ideas. So there's that one, and it does teach you about colour. So the idea is to be working on your colour choice methods. And then this is another one of quilt blocks and designs. Now these would normally be about $35-$40. We've had them for a while, and we've got boxes and boxes of them. As I said, there's a long story why we've had them. So I think we've had them on the website for $18. So I'm going to say you can order these for $10 each, or if you place an order in the next month over $100 and you get your free shipping, then we'll throw one of these in free with you. Okay, so did you get that? So $10 each, 1 and 2. So this one's quilt blocks and designs. This one's creative quilts. Or if you order over $100 worth, we'll throw one in for the rest of August. Okay, got that, Jo? For free. Okay, so Karen's got both books. Yep, bargain. They're a really good quality Landau book. But we need to get our space back, and we've got lots of them. As I said, long story as to why we have them. But anyway, we won't go into that. Right. What else have I got to show you? Apart from a drink. Some new fabrics. New fabrics in this week. I shall unwrap them so we can see them. Just a few pick and choose ones, but we always ask for text fabric, and we're always getting asked for low volumes and things like this for backgrounds. So this one is called Soliloquy. Now, let me read a little bit of the text, because sometimes you get caught out with what's actually written on them. Let me find. What is there to catch selfless conifers on the path, whispering from being happy? Grow, serve, simplify, celebrate, jump as off a diving board. Okay, interesting. Now it's time, a shining sun, discrimination and strength in pain, live in the new, in integrity and freedom. I suggest you don't read the text unless it's something really bad. We're just getting the text, okay? We're just getting the the idea of having a nice low volume text fabric. So I'll just zoom in so you can see that a bit closer up. But yeah, I have no idea what that text comes from, whether it's a book, holding your hand over the rainbow, then 2, who we couldn't keep from being happy. Grow tonight is a beautiful day. With you and me were holding your hand over the rainbow. Yeah, unsure. It's all a bit gobbledygook, but it's real words. Anyway, that's a good text fabric. Then the next one is probably a little bit about current political situations. It's called Redacted because it is soliloquy. No, it's called Scrawl Redacted. And let me just get that off the screen so I can see your comments. Where's my mouse? Okay, bit late, Sharon, but you're here now. Thank you very much for those who sent me testimonials in. So if you didn't see it on Facebook, I was asking for any testimonials that I could use if you've done a workshop or a class at a show with me. Just need some testimonials. I've had some lovely ones, which you sit there and go, oh, I suppose you're not going to send me ones that if you weren't happy, but So this is called Redacted. So let's read some of this. She had never been out of England before. She would rather die than trust herself friendless in a foreign country, and so forth. Redacted. The great idea was to return to Stanmore. Things had always been well and safe at Stanmore. They would find George at Stanmore. So I would say that's more likely from a book. The Martian who had been overthrown crawled tediously out of his hood, a small brown figure, oddly suggestive from that distance of a speck of blight, and apparently engaged in the repair of his support. About 9 he had finished, for his cowl was then seen above the trees again. Okay, anyone recognise that book? I'm not sure. So there's that one, which is grey. It's like a grey low volume, grey with darker grey. And then there is this one, and still haven't got to the clues. But good try, good effort, girls. Good effort. You're giving me some ideas I could have used, but when I'm setting it up, I can't think of these ideas. So this one is a black one, sort of black. It's just called Scrawl. It's more of a charcoal grey, and it's got just like code. All work and no sew makes a dull boy. Okay, it's not really code. It's just like random letters and numbers. Okay, so they're all on the website. I'll put the links up in a minute. So they're just some nice new fabrics, all from Andover. All from Andover. I'm not sure who the designer is and what the range is. Oh, it's Juicy Juice. Okay, so Juicy Juice from the Punctuation range. Okay, that's why it's probably a bit random. We'll have to ask him what it meant because we got no idea. Okay, now I was going to show you. Now, can you see? Let me switch over to the other camera. My mouse takes a little bit of time to. Can you see behind me the Tassie trip, the trip around the world that I was doing back for AQC is back and finished and quilted, but you can't really see the quilting on the camera, but it's back from Tracy, beautifully quilted, ready for the exhibition next week. Still got another one to get back and bind and finish. I'm sure she's still quilting it, and I've still got my Mayope Road here, which I'll talk about in a minute. But that one is done, so you can't see much of it because it's quite big, but that's the Tassie trip around the world. Okay. Now, my Quilters Ago Mayope Road is very close to being finished. Okay. That's just 3 rows. There's another 3 joined, and there's another 2 ready to be still to be quilted, but there's a story about that. So So I just thought I'd show you how I'm doing the quilt as you go for those that haven't done quilt as you go before. So I'm quilting each row individually. This one I'm actually unquilting, and that's the one that has the story. So it's taking me longer to unquilt it than it is to quilt, but we'll get there. And then once they're individually quilted, they're joined together in the rows. Okay, so I've done 2 lots of 3, and then I was going to do the other 2 as 2 and join those, and then I'll join all those 3 segments together. So once the row is done though, let me zoom out. Okay, right. So once the row is done, see how it's got these little peepers in between the rows? So this is for the ones that are doing Mayock Road. So they just break up the rows and give it like a line border. I just thought that was nice to have some definition between the rows. Some of them, like this one here, has got hexes along the row, so that hasn't got the little peeper. But what we do then when we're going to join the next row is the peeper strip is just a 1-inch strip folded in half and pressed wrong sides together. So I put that on the front of the row, and this is when it's a single row. So say this one here, and we put this raw edges even on the front of the row, and just baste it with your walking foot on your machine close to the edge. So don't go the full 1/4 inch, just baste it. And then once that's basted to the front, that's when I finish quilting. I've trimmed it all, cleaned it all up. Then on the back, this is my binding strip on the back. So I'm using a traditional quilt as you go where the binding's all hand sewn on the back. Okay, so I've cut 1-inch strips of the backing fabric, or you could use a contrast, and I've run that through my 1/2-inch bias maker so that both edges are folded in. Okay, and then I've just pressed open one of them, so I've still got my crease, but it's open. So I'm placing that on the back, the paper's on the front, and I'm placing that on the back. And again, just with a walking foot and a long basting stitch, I'm just basting that close to the edge on the back. So I've got that on the front, and I've got my basting strip on the back. Then when I join my next row on, you just put that right sides together, have the edges all nice and even, and then you sew with a 1/4 inch seam. And then when you open it up, your peeper is sticking out here, and you want to press that upwards. So you fold your seam downwards, press that upwards, and then you just pull. Imagine this is stitched on like this in the seam. You just pull that over so it covers up all the raw edges, pin it down, and then slip stitch it down. So it doesn't take too long to go along and slip stitch that down. So then on the back, it's quilt as you go, but you can barely see where the binding strips are. You could make them a feature and make them the blue or a different color, or you can just blend it in. And I just had this fabric, which is actually leftover ends from the Sunshine and Lollipops quilt backing, because we ended up on every bolt having a piece at the end that wasn't big enough for the kit. And it worked perfectly with the two of the blues. So I think that's a really cool backing. So yeah, so I just thought I'd talk you through the quilt as you go method. I have taken a couple of videos, I think, that I'll put up eventually on that, but that is what I'm doing there after I finish unpicking that bad one and start again on that. It didn't sound very straightforward, Joe, but hopefully it was. Yeah, it's not too hard. And I mean, you can just make it as a full quilt too and just quilt the whole thing. But I know for a lot of people, quilting the whole thing is a challenge, and doing it row by row, you can actually get it quilted as you finish one row before the next month comes. And when you get to the end, you don't feel, it's not so daunting to have to then quilt the whole thing. It's it's pretty much done. You just have to join the rows. Well, you can join them as you go as well, because if you're getting the fabric, we're sending out the strips each month as well, so you can join it as you go. And then at the end, you just have to add your last one and bind it, and your quilt's finished. So yes, so that's an option of doing it row by row, and that's what's in the pattern instructions, but you could do it your own way. Now, last week, getting through things pretty quickly. Have I forgotten anything? I don't think so. Now, there was something. What was there? Was something that Shed Guy said, ask them tonight what they think. And now I can't think what it was that I was meant to ask you tonight, what you thought. Ooh, I don't know what it was. Can't think. But anyway, I've been too many late nights unpicking while I'm watching the Olympics. Who's watching the Olympics? Okay. Hello, Janine. Welcome. You're all trying so hard. Have we got any heads? I don't think we have any heads in, because I haven't given you any hints yet at all. Okay. And it's a really random word. All right. So remember I showed you last week the needle porta, I don't know how you say it, needle portafeuille. No, it wasn't about nuts and bolts. What was it about? We're having a dinner party Saturday night with some friends, and it's our turn. So I'm going with a French theme. It was something to do with a French recipe or a French costume or something to do with that. 9 now is good, Caroline. You don't see the best bits at night, but then I put it on in the background during the day and see them another 20 times during the day. So, for example, I was watching the quarterfinal of the skateboarding last night, and then it sounds like the Australian went on and won that after I gave up and went to bed at 12:30. Yes, anyway, so the needle portafeuille, I don't know how you say it. It's a French word. See, we're keeping and keeping, and it does mean a purse or something like that. Yeah, something like that it means. But I can't remember when Joe came up with the name. I wish Joe could pronounce it. So this is our little needlebook purse, remember? So the needles go in there, just one of each when you're traveling. And I just put a couple of bobbins of thread, and it's just no bigger than my finger or a lipstick. So it can just go in your, purse. Okay. And then we had the matching scissor case. Now I forgot until yesterday to put up these little mini scissors on the website as well. And there's 5 different colors. Aren't they so cute? They're so tiny. Okay. Which will fit in here, but they would fit in lots of things. So I've put them up with the listing and also as a separate listing. So I'll put those links in a minute. But tonight we're talking about the needle case, because someone last week asked if I could demonstrate how to put the frame on. So that was good, because I needed something to demonstrate. So, gosh, you're onto it, girls. You're onto it. Only takes one and you're onto it. Okay, so this tiny little one here. Now, this is a pretty simple one to put your frame on because it's just flat, okay? When it comes to a purse that has a big bulging bottom and you've got to get it in, it's much fiddlier. But this is quite sweet, this one. So it's just that size. It's an 8.5 centimetre frame. So I just quickly whipped this up. Now, I have to show you my injury. Can you see my injury? That's my sewing injury this week. Oh, you can't see it very well. Can you see my sewing injury? So I caught it twice. First of all, it ripped there, and the second time it ripped halfway down my finger. So I have to show you. I need some sympathy, please, for my sore finger. Hello, Karen. You have to get the secret word, Karen, to get your head in the lottery jar to be up for a prize at the end. That's why they're all typing random words that mean nothing. Yeah, I should have put out, shouldn't I? That could have been my word. Okay, so anyway, so in this case, it's really easy. So I just opened my frame and I just used a blue pen to trace around the outside of my frame. And then I just sewed it with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Do we need to come in closer? 1/4 inch seam allowance. We'll come in a bit closer. Not too close, about there. Okay. All right, so you can see my blue pen where I traced around the outside edge, and then I stitched on that line and cut it out the 1/4 inch seam allowance. And I left an opening to turn it on this edge here so that it's going to be hidden inside the frame. If you left it on this side here, then your opening is going to be in where you see it, and you would have had to stitch it closed. In this case, I'm going to be really lazy and not even stitch it closed. Now, I went and met this random guy in the back of his ute this week down on the waterfront to get my scissors sharpened. So they've just come back tonight. So because remember I was really naughty and I used them to bend over the end of a spring clip or something like that, and I wrecked the tips. So yeah, so let's test my scissors. So I'm just going to trim it back a little bit. Oh, they're all fixed. He did my blue ones too because I'd managed to wreck them all. Actually, the blue ones he just tightened. So your blue scissors, if they're not cutting to the tip, they just gotten loose. So he just tightened them at the screw. So at this screw here. And I should be testing those too, but he said that should do the trick. They didn't feel too bad otherwise. But the trick is, so the orange ones aren't serrated, so they're okay to get sharpened as normal. But the serrated ones are the blue ones. You've got to tell them that they can't sharpen the serrated blade. They can only sharpen the other one. And my purple ones, which are serrated, I got them done at a knife sharpener once. And even though I told him that, they no longer have a serrated edge. But anyway, okay, and then I'm going to clip the curves just so that it folds around a bit easier. Not much of a curve there. It doesn't really matter because it's all going to be hiding inside the frame. Doesn't really matter. And then I just, because I can't stick my finger in at the moment because it might catch my broken nail, I just put a little bit of stitchery stabilizer on the back of this one. I think this one we might have had a bit of Pellon on it. Not sure. Anyway, you can have either, but if it's a normal purse, a bigger purse, I'd probably put Pellon or Parlan or batting. But this one I just did a stitchery stabilizer. So I'm just going to turn it through. Push all that through. Oh, Bentley's very relaxed, snoring down in his bed, not eating something for a change. Must have had a hard day, sleeping all day. Okay, and then I would press that, but I'm not going to worry about it now. Press that, and I'm not even going to bother to sew that opening closed, but if I pressed it, actually I've got the iron here, I will press it. I'll just turn it on. Just makes things a bit easier. Where's my pressing mat? Must be here somewhere. So I just press that, make sure that that opening is pressed inwards. Because once it's in the frame, you can't really press it. So if you did have any, creases or anything in there, you probably do want to press it first. And in this instance, of course, the outside, I pieced it. So it was all hexagon pieced before we put it together. But for this demo, I'm just using a nice piece of Tilda fabric. Okay, and then, so that's the inside and that's the outside with the holes on it because we make the stitching a feature. Yeah, it won't close the other way. It will only close that way. Okay, so then in this instance, because it should now be exactly the same size, we just sit that in the frame and make sure it's pushed right up into the cavity of that frame. And if you've cut it the right size, it just should, you can see how it's just passing along there. So it should be sitting in there the whole way around because we've cut it the right size. We cut it 1/4 inch bigger and then we've sewn it, which means with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, which means it should be now the same size as the outside of that frame. Okay, so now what we're going to do is stitch through these holes and through the fabric to hold it. Okay, so I've just got some pearl thread. And so you would want a reasonably strong thread. And I'm just going to use one of our stitchery needles. Haven't seen Anne here tonight, but I saw Anne's progress last night on her stitchery version of Mayo Road, and it's coming along beautifully. She's adding a little bit of applique as well, just some of the flower centers, but I'll get some more photos of it later. All right, so we want to start at this little hole here. So I'm just going to slide my knot in underneath through the fabric and find that hole. So my knot is hidden in underneath the frame. If it's not, I'm going to trim the tail off it. So there's not going to be as much to show. You could also pop it through the fabric so that it's in between the two layers. And then we just go into the next hole. And as you hit the back, you hit the frame. So you just want to angle, you don't want to let it out. You just want to angle your needle out from under the frame. And then go back in underneath on an angle and feel around until you find the next hole. It's a bit of digging around. You get the hang of it after a while. There it is. Now you could do a back stitch. So I could go back into the same hole as before. So I've come up here. I could go back into that hole. So I've got a solid stitch line all the way around. Obviously, that's twice as much work. So for now, for the purposes of recording, of being live, I'm just going to do a running stitch. So I'm going to go forward to the next hole. Now I chose quite a long piece of thread in the hope that I didn't have to run out and use a second one. But the risk of that is that you get knots. So let's try and not get a knot. Okay, then I'm moving forward, and I'm just, you can look on the back to make sure you're going in underneath sort of where you are, but I'm just feeling around. Now, if it was a tricky, like a proper purse, not a flat one, then there's a few things you can do. One, you can run a line of glue inside the frame and then use your awl or something like that to push the fabric up in and onto the glue and then just leave it there till it dries. Sometimes, so just a clear craft glue, there are proper bag frame glues. They're a bit harder to find. They're like a quick set sort of tacky glue. So you can just use a clear craft glue and leave it to dry. Or what I sometimes do is I just shove it all up and just put pink clips over the frame to hold it. And then I just get another random thread and I just sort of whip it around without trying to go into the holes. I just whip it around through the fabric around the frame. So it's holding it all in place while you do your stitching through the holes, because you don't want bits to fall out and then not be caught in. So that's if you're doing a trickier, not a flat one, but a flat one's actually really quite simple. It's just finding the hole, but you will get the speed up once you start finding your place a bit more. You want to go as close to the frame. So you might end up being able to see a row of stitching around there, but to try and avoid that, we're tucking the needle in underneath the frame and through the hole. It really doesn't matter if you do see it, it's on the inside. We must make sure though that fabric's pushed in the middle of those two layers of metal and that the stitches are going through the fabric. So if you're actually missing the fabric, it's just going to come straight out. Hi Wendy, it's all right, you can go back and watch it on replay. Using 2 needles, yeah, you possibly could. So it's just, you know, it doesn't take all night, but it's going to take a little time. You probably don't want to sit here and watch me do the whole thing. But the needle is important, that it will fit through the hole. And we want to keep making sure we're keeping it flat in on all these. If I had my pink clips here, I'd probably put a couple of clips over here just to make sure it's staying inside that one. Or as I was saying before when I was talking about whipping, I'll show you now what I mean. I wouldn't do it on this one, but I will show you what I mean by that. I've just got a fine applique thread here. But I would just whip around like that to make sure that's not going to pull out while I'm stitching the other side. And then it's really easy just to remove that afterwards. So I know it's all in there nicely. Okay, so that's what I mean by whipping over it. Not that you can see that because I used a really fine thread, but you can see how I've just whipped around it to make sure that I'm holding the fabric right up to the edge of that frame. I'm just using a stitchery needle, so that's a crewel number 7, Laurel. It depends what thread you're using, of course. It has to be the right size needle for the thread, but it also has to fit through the hole. But the holes are generally fairly generous. Now, you can get frames that don't have holes, and those ones are just glued, but there's also a technique, if you search on YouTube, where they have a, I can't think what it's called, it's a special cord, and the cord gets glued in over with the fabric and it basically jams, it like wedges the fabric in so it doesn't come out. But I only ever buy the ones with holes, so I'm confident that it's in there. It's the one time that I actually don't like the glue because I tend to get in a really big mess. And you know I like glue normally, but in this case I seem to get in a very big mess. If anyone else has extra tips on how to sew purse frames in, again, this is a really simple one because it's flat. And the purse is the exact size. And I can open it up completely to access everything. Okay, so I'm up to my little, it's got a hole there, so I put the extra stitch. I'm up to my little gap here at the hinge. So I would just go through the center of the fabric to jump across that gap. So jump across the gap and then find my next hole, or this half hole I'll use, and continue going. Put another knot. I think I really did use too much thread, but that was better than having to finish off and start again. And I probably would do a back stitch in this instance to make that stitching a feature. Lynn posted her version of the iHex last week. I don't think Lynn's here tonight. I haven't seen her. Here I'm using a Presentia 16 pearl thread, but as long as it's reasonably strong. You could just use floss, but you'd want a few strands for strength because you're pulling reasonably tightly, and you don't want this to wear out and break over time. So a stronger thread, a hand quilting thread, or a linen thread, or a pearl thread. And I think because the hole's there, it's nice to have that stitched feature on it. Maybe next week I'll get one of our more ornate frames, make a new bag, and show you how I put those ones in. I have put a few stitches in around the purse to hold it on temporarily whilst I start stitching it on before. Yeah, this way, the way you whip stitch it. Yeah. I think that's certainly a good way when you're not doing a flat one. I was just being a bit lazy doing a flat one. Lynn's working tonight. Oh, netball on. So much to learn about threads. I guess it's just experience, Gidget, over the time. There's so many different ones. So I'll tell you something that I learned about threads this week. The reason why I'm unpicking that whole row of densely background free motion quilted spirals, so it's taken me probably 10 hours already to unpick, is because I was quilting along on row 7 of 8, having done all the rest quite successfully with the same thread, same machine, same tension, same everything. And the thread started breaking and shredding, which is really unusual. And the needle started popping. So I thought, oh, okay, it's time to change the needle. So I changed the needle, and that was fine. It stopped the shredding. But all of a sudden, the thread looked a different color. And I thought I must have surely been imagining it. Like I'm looking at my thread over the back of the machine and thinking, oh, no, there's no ghost that's come in here and changed the thread. And that's the only cone of thread I have like that. So it was a Superior micro quilter. So it's a 100 weight, very fine thread, which let me get texture and dimension with the quilting without seeing my bad quilting because it just sunk into the fabric. Anyway, so I finished the whole row. Yes, a curved needle could help, Caroline. I often think that, but I can never find one though. So I finished quilting the whole row and then took it out from the light of the machine and went into the normal light, and it is definitely a different color. So it's a cone of thread, so a big one. I have never, ever experienced a cone of thread changing color halfway through. So I sent the pictures through to Tracy, who is the fountain of knowledge of threads and knows them all and has used them all. She'd never heard of it. I was chatting with Deb Louie. She asked her how it went, and she hadn't heard of it. So I actually think that when it started shredding was where there was a difference in the thread. So whether they like spliced in a new one, like it came to the end of a run and they spliced in the new one or something, I don't know. And that's why it started shredding, because it was different and it was actually a different color. So now, yes, I've spent 2 nights unpicking with a very tight deadline, and I've got to find a thread to finish it off with that I've got on hand to complete the quilt without noticing any difference. Okay, so I just came through to the back, and in that little gap there, I've just done a couple of little knots, and then I'm just going to take the end of the thread through the middle of the fabric. So I've got it out of the way. I'll just give it a little pull and trim it, and the end of my thread will be in the middle of the fabric. Okay. Splicing, well, that's what I'm thinking, Laura. I've never actually, I have seen threads made, you know, on this, you get the YouTube movies and things on how they're made, but there's got to be an end at some stage, doesn't it? Doesn't there? Like they must run out and start a new batch at some stage. So that I guess it's if it's in the middle of a cone, I think that's what it is. But somehow they've spliced it with a new dye light or a totally different color. Like I've got photos of it. It's quite, well, you can probably see on this where I haven't finished unpicking. Okay, so that's the original thread color. You can't really see. And then that's the one that's the same one that's supposedly different. Probably can't really see it on here, but I promise you, you can see it. So much so that it annoys me, and I'm not a perfectionist, but I've had to unpick it. All right, so then I would just take out that little whip stitch that I had on there to hold it, and get rid of that. All my pink clips. So yes, this is a very simple one, but that gives you the basics of it. I'd probably go back and stitch my other holes, so make it a back stitch, a solid stitch, just so that that stitch ends up being more of a feature. Okay. Hello to Mum if you've remembered to watch. I'm not sure what football's on tonight. You might be watching the football. Okay, and then I would just get my little bit of Yes, that's the main reason I'm unpicking it, because it shows my very bad quilting, because row 6, trying to get it all done in a week, I was really over it, so I wasn't being very careful. Do I have kits for this one, Gidget, for the needle one? Yes, I do have kits, and I also kits for the original and the pattern, and then we also just have the extra frames. Yeah, so then I just get my little bit of wool felt and just stitch it through the middle, or you could have done that before you put it in, or you could have done it before you sewed the two right sides together, and then you don't have to worry about it not going through to the other side. But I just carefully did a running stitch just through one layer so that I could put my needles, or my needle, inside the little portafeuille to take on a plane or in my purse for when I ever get a minute. And as I said, my bobbin's in there, and I can just have my thread hanging out and pull it out to rethread, so I don't even have to open it. But a couple of spare needles are good, and that's how you do the frame. So I hope that showed you a few things. Let's switch back over to this one, and I need to put some links in, don't I? So let's find the links, and I will put some links in. Now, the one that I had to show, let's hang on. We'll put the silicone pressing mat in first. So portafeuille, Portefeuille. Okay, the pressing mat, the needle portafeuille, and on that needle page is also the extra frame, so you can get them from there. The mini scissors and the little strawberry scissor keep pattern. I'm just putting that link in. The colouring books, now the link is just to one of them, and that's at the full price. So I think you put no, the little scissors won't fit in the frame. That's why I had to make the separate. They will fit in an open, but not closed. Okay, they fit nicely in an open, but you can't close it. So if you wanted to just have the one, you could make this larger. You could make that double the size, okay? And that's when we have it hanging down here. It's not quite so easy to sew the frame on, and then you could fit the scissors in. So yeah, that would be an idea, to make your actual purse larger. So you'd make it the same height but double the width. So when it goes in, this extends out here when you fold it, and it just means when you're sewing the frame on, you sort of have your frame like this. So it's just a bit fiddlier because this bit is hanging down here loose. But that's how all the normal bags are made with purse frames. So that is normal. This is just the easy way. But yeah, that would be a good idea to make it bigger, and then your scissors could fit in there. But then you wouldn't have your sweet little strawberry scissor keep. So anyway, there's some options. Okay, so the colouring books I've put in there, but that's just to remind you, if you've already, I know a lot of you have already ordered the colouring books at the $10 each, or if you order $100 worth for the rest of August, we will throw one in with your free shipping. What else have we got? The Devonstone Fat Quarter Stack, the boxes. So I've put that in there. They're quite sharp too, Rhonda. They're actually quite sweet and sharp. Nice little sharp point. Now, has that gone in? Yep. And then the last thing, the one that, is that the last thing? Oh, no, hang on, I'll put the fabrics in first. Because amazingly, now that we've got Hazel, she's learning really well, and we're getting all these new fabrics and things on the website, like 12 months worth of stuff on the website finally. And she's got all the new wonderful threads up there, hundreds of threads. So scroll redacted. Scroll to the soliloquy go in there. No, put that one in there. Okay, so the one that I forgot to bring up is, again, Matilda's Own, made in Australia, 100% wool toy fill. So good for good for pin cushions and things, because it's 100% wool, or good stuffing for your toys and things. So we've just got a massive big box of that, and we've been putting that in bags for you, and I've just put the link in, but it's downstairs. Do you want me to run and get it? I mean, do you need to see it? Maybe. would have been nice to have had it here, but I photographed it so I could put it on the website. So anyway, yeah. So again, Australian made in Geelong apparently, and 100% wool. I can get it in polyfill and in cotton as well, but I got the wool because that's good for your needles. Your needle wool is good for your needle when you poke it into your pin cushion or your needle cushion, so they don't rust. So that's what we got them for. That and walnut shells, which we also have walnut shells. Did you know that? Tasmanian walnut shells. Joe and I actually traipsed out to the walnut farm and scraped up all the walnut shells. Well, not exactly. They had them in a big bin for us, boxes and boxes, and I sit there and grind them all. Grind them down to fine walnut shells for your pin cushions. Will we get Afterpay at all, Helen? I think I do have it as an option that I can turn on. Is it something that's attractive to people? I don't know. I know there are more fees and more things involved in it, and we actually haven't done that. But I think there is an option that I can turn on. You can use PayPal. Like through your PayPal, you can pay in installments. I know you can do that through our PayPal integration. But how many people do use Afterpay? I've never used it. I know it's sort of a bit like well, it's not like the old lay-by because you actually get it before you've paid it off. We had to, pay something every month for a year, and you didn't get it till you'd fully paid it off. But can you even do lay-by anymore? I think you probably can. Not sure. Okay, so I think that is all I've got to show and tell you tonight. Have I forgotten anything? Probably have, apart from the wool stuff downstairs. Gosh, that gin was nice tonight. Okay. Yep, I think that's it for tonight. And Chris, if you're still here, every week I come here and I see my little labels next to me, and remember that I haven't put those on the website yet for you, but we did order in some more leatherette in different colours. Isn't he good? He's sound asleep on his bed. It's like he's had a big day or something. He hasn't left the house, but he's been very good. He literally was been snoring away. So anyway, you do use Afterpay, Wendy. Okay. Oh, and you use a lot. Okay. There you go. All right. So a few of you got the gist. Well, most of you, I think. And there's lots of little heads in the lolly jar. So I think we can draw the prize. When is the second installment of Mayotte Road coming out? So, Donna, it depends on the day when you ordered the first one. So it will be 30 days after you ordered the first one. So some have started going out this week. As your credit card auto charges for the second one through the subscription, we're shipping it out. So month twos have been going for about a week. So if you didn't order on the first day, then from whenever you ordered your first one, not from when we shipped it, but when you ordered it and paid for it, then it would be 30 days after that. You should automatically done it. And now if it doesn't seem to have happened and it's more than 30 days, then just message and check, because maybe there was something wrong with your subscription or your credit card or something, although we normally get a failure notice if that's the case and can chase you up. As soon as I've finished this next week and tested the rest of it, because I just keep making little tweaks as I go, adding more things into the pattern that might be helpful, then it will also be available as a full set, particularly for those overseas that don't want to pay shipping every month but want to just get the whole lot at once. But if you've already started, then you'll get it monthly. Okay, time to draw the needle winner. So yes, I think most of you got the keyword needle, and I'll try and come up with some more interesting words in future. But see, I don't know what I'm going to talk about till I get here, as in, just ramble on. So, yeah, I quickly was trying to find one. All right, let's draw the win. Let's get a winner. And it is Vicky. Vicky Giles, is it? Are you still here, Vicky? I don't remember even seeing you there. You must have slipped through while I wasn't watching the comments. Vicky, are you here? Cindy, you're up in the middle of the outback somewhere, floating in nice warm water and having happy hour every night. Vicky, are you here? Yes, you're here. Well done. Okay, drop Joe a message, and if you're watching on replay, you can order any of those books, or what else did we show you? Fat quarter packs, whatever. But the books were the ones that you need to order in the comments because they're not that price or not on the website. So it was a special deal from tonight. So you've got until for a couple of days to go back, and if you do watch it on replay and you say sold and we don't get back to you, just drop a message, because sometimes we don't go back and see all the comments, a few days later. So yeah, just check with that one. Heading on the way home. You haven't seemed to have been up there for ages, Cindy. So very nice. And you must be getting home to be able to get here surely soon. Get well soon, Fiona. And we'll see you all next week. Everyone have a great week. There was one other thing I needed to tell you. What was it? Apart from me going to New Zealand, so if anyone's in New Zealand, classes there, classes in America, I'm sure there was something. Well, Joanne, I have to wait till it to grow out, I think. Like, it's halfway down the nail. So I'm going to try and trim it off and expose the finger, because it's just going to get caught all the time. But it's not actually sore now after the first night, unless I rip it, of course. But I did feel like I needed some sympathy, because it was a very traumatic sewing injury. Okay, good night, everyone. Let's go. I've got to pop down to the shop. So let's go and see you all next week. Okay, bye for now. Happy stitching.